the men come in these places, and the men are all the same. You don't look at their faces, and you don't ask their names. You don't think of them as human. You don't think of them at all. You keep your mind on the money, keeping your eyes on the wall, and your pride a dancer for money. Do what you want me to do, and your pride a dancer for money, and any old music will do. I wanna make $1 million. I wanna live by the sea, have a husband and some children. Yeah, I guess I want a family. All the men come in these places, and the men are all the same. You don't look at their faces, and you don't ask their name. And your pride a dancer for money. Do what you want me to do. And your pride a dancer for money. And any old music will do. And your pride a dancer for money. Do what you want me to do. Just a pride a dancer for money. And any old music will do. Dutch lots of dollars, American Express will do nicely with you. Let me loosen up your collar. Tell me, do you wanna sing it or shake it again? You cry a dancer for money. Do what you want me to do.
Okay, life goes on. A tribute to Tina there. Teeny weeny. What a singer. What a woman. What a wonderful, wonderful singer. It's sad, isn't it? At my age, I'm watching all these people drop dead. Rest in peace, Tina, says Frank Casey. So do I. Do you know what? I don't know, but it brings back memories. 1984, Private Dancer. How old was I, Sue, in 1984?
Were 23.
3 years old. I was in my peak when Tina was singing Private Dancer. I was the disco king. Well, not quite. I'd gone past that stage. Anyway, rest in peace, Tina. How about that? What a fantastic singer. And what shit she went through in a relationship. We talk about cruelty. I bet she was hard to live with, but I tell you what, I bet she was passionate. Very sad news. So let's raise our glasses to Tina Turner. That one hit me a bit stronger than others. Just brings back memories, doesn't it? Memories. Anyway, where were we? Should we switch the disco shit off in the background? Did you like that? Special effects. Did you like that, everyone? I made an effort, didn't I? I made an effort. Anyway, we did our little bit, didn't we, for Teeny Weeny? So there you go. So let's get back on to what we're talking about. Should we talk about dog training, or do you want to talk about something else today, everybody? You tell me what you want to talk about. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. Have to give me a couple of seconds to gather my thoughts. Jeff Harroway, good evening to you all. Are you liking Jeff's videos? Are you liking Jeff's videos? I want another week like last. It was fantastic last week's chat. Feel free. Karen, would you like to ring me? Would you like to go live with me tonight, Karen? Have you got the balls? Or are you busy? Buried up to your balls. If you'd like to ring me, Karen, you could go live with me this week. Anybody else? Did anybody else get that same feeling when they heard that news about Tina Turner? She's not family, is she? But it was sad. Because of, if you're my sort of age, she was in your life for 30, 40 years, wasn't she? And an energetic, enthusiastic singer that gave it all, didn't she? And when you watched her sing and dance on stage, she didn't hold back, did she? She didn't give a shit what other people thought. She just let rip. Anyway, just let me sort the little ones. He's going to bed now. Okay, Karen, sorry, I didn't realise you. Yeah, no problem, mate. If you're not a problem. I wanted. Did anyone see Jeff's videos?
Yeah, Graham said, yes, good stuff with Jeff.
Did you see them? I have a dog question, Chris. My younger dog Male every day is nagging to go out and train, which is great, but I don't really know what else to go through with him without making him bored. Okay, Denver, if you could explain to me, I have a question, Chris. You're my younger Male. Every day is nagging to go out. What do you mean he's nagging to go out? What does he do? Does he talk to you?
Oh,
Eh? How do you know he's nagging to go out? Or is he just attention seeking? So, Tim Weston says he can't hear anything. Is it just me?
must be nobody else the same.
So, is Tim Weston living on his own, or can everybody else hear me? You got me worried now. Have I played Tina friggin' Turner and dressed up in a wig? I was going to put my Tina Turner wig on today and do a tribute band for you. And I thought it wasn't perhaps quite appropriate. I'm listening and in the house, whiskey out with the dogs. That's the way. Loud and clear. Thank you. Audio is fine. So it must be you've got a problem your end. Perhaps you need to have a look at your end. So anyway, the reason that I want to address that situation is Jeff's dog just turned up in a I'm going to push the boundaries today attitude. And that dog knows the behavior because we taught it, and the dog can behave itself a lot better than that. And the dog went, stuff you, I'm wound up, and I'm going to do what I want to do. And we had to change the mindset of the dog. And we put it up for the group to see. And Jeff is on here. You can ask him. We used one correction on the e-collar at the right moment. One correction. Jeff had already scruffed the dog to send him the message, and the dog just shook it off as if, like, doesn't bother me. But as soon as we put the e-collar on him, he had the e-collar on already, so the e-collar wasn't bothering him. That wasn't stopping him running in. You can't say he was e-collar wise. But as soon as we used the e-collar once, the mindset and the whole persona of the dog changed. Good evening, Steve. Not whiskey out I meant whilst out with the dogs. Whiskey? What the hell's he on about, sir?
Well, he wrote, I am listening, and in the house, whiskey out with the dogs. He meant whilst out with the dogs, but obviously autocorrect done whiskey.
You'd be better off out with whiskey and the dogs. You need to calm down, my man. Yeah, so what I'm saying is, there's a fine example of using the e-collar the way we educate. And I don't care if none of you are interested tonight about the e-collar. I'm not bothered about that. I'm only showing you that it's not the tool that these idiots say it is if used in the right hands at the right time. And first we teach the behavior. Now, I'm not in the clique. I'm not out there in the dog training world, in the clique with these so-called experts with e-collars. Whether it's because I condemned them years ago, I don't care. I don't mind. In my mind, I put up on Facebook a T-shirt today that I would quite happily wear if someone bought it for me. I wouldn't go out and buy it, but if someone bought it for me, I would have worn it quite happily. Because I don't believe that everything I do and say on the internet is because I want to win hearts and minds. I want to say it the way it is. And if you don't like it, don't freaking watch it. So Adam says, did you see my Patterdale recall? That was e-collar trained. Yeah, I did, and it was lovely. And if you teach the behavior first and the dog wants to blow you off, then you can use it to strengthen that behavior and send a message to that dog. So the T-shirt that I was on about was like, I don't give a fuck what people think about me. Now, in reality, I think we all actually give a fuck what people think about us. Because if no one liked you, I wouldn't be on here at all, would I? But I'm not going to change my way to appease other people just so I can gain popularity and more followers. It's as simple as that. What you see is what you get. If you don't like it, don't watch it. It's as simple as that. And that's why I shared that T-shirt. But that's why I talked about the e-collar the way I do. And I don't care if people say, oh, we won't get Chris Upton involved because, Chris Upton is one of the trainers that puts more videos up than anybody else. In the past, has put up more videos than anybody else. And he has talked about the e-collar openly. And I've had to take arrows fired at me because I use an e-collar. I can tell you that I could have gone out and corrected Jeff's dog. I could have gone over that bank, even as I am now, caught that dog, give that dog a taste of hell, and that dog would have behaved itself and gone, bloody hell, Fat Boy is serious. But like I said in the video, if anybody had done that and been seen doing that, in today's climate, you would have been up shit creek without a paddle having an argument with some Wally who says that's not acceptable. They haven't seen all the time you've put in to teach the behavior. The dog knows the behavior. You've seen the videos where the dog was better than that. And if we just show the good videos and not the bad bits, then all you see is fake news. And that dog pushes boundaries more than most dogs I've ever known. And in the wrong hands, that dog would be an absolute nightmare. And it ain't fair on Jeff, easygoing Jeff, who just wants a lovely little trained dog. He's put the time in, he's put the work in. It ain't fair that he's ended up with a dog like that. But do you know what? He absolutely loves that dog. Even though he's a little bastard. He's a pain in the arse.
The dog knows it now.
And the dog knows it. Exactly. But the thing is, what we're not doing is destroying the dog. We're bringing the dog back into line every time he wants to push boundaries until the point he goes, I surrender. I'll just play the game. And that is so important. And Gary Marriott says Jeff's doing well, and Jeff is doing well, but Jeff is also struggling in some areas. But if we don't show you the dog when he goes wrong, then, and we only show you when we get the dog perfect, then you ain't going to learn nothing. Because Jeff's videos are far more important than hundreds that have gone up where dogs are showing good behavior, well trained. It's nice to see. But the important videos are the ones when the dog pushes the boundaries and says, stuff you. And I'd like to see where Jeff would go with a dog like that. To what trainer in the country would you go to and ask for advice? Positive only? You're up shit creek without a paddle. And that's the point about me promoting the e-collar. That doesn't mean I use the e-collar every week. I'll be totally honest with you. The last time I used the e-collar is with Jeff and his dog months ago. The dog wears the e-collar, but we very seldom give the dog the e-collar. Now, you could say, we don't want to make the dog e-collar wise. No, I don't want to make the e-collar wise, but I don't give a shit. I want the behavior to stop. I want the bad behavior to stop and the good behavior to calm him down and get him to listen, get him to think rather than just headstrong like a bull at a gate. And that's what that dog is all about. He's 100 miles an hour. A lot of people would struggle like hell with that dog. It's as simple as that. Purely Positive wouldn't stand a chance with Jeff's dog. Exactly. Now, the thing is, I could be putting Jeff's videos up one at a time on YouTube and bringing in lots and lots of people because they think, wow, I've got a dog like that. It don't listen to me. But I don't want to put those videos up because in our group, we've got sensible people who all care about their dogs. They're willing to use discipline when needed. They know the importance of gameplay. And that's so important when we talk about training dogs. Bringing the elements together. Now, I'm not really interested in the 4 quadrants spouting word for word what the 4 quadrants mean. Because before all that was addressed on the internet, if you didn't know anything about the 4 quadrants, did it mean you couldn't train a dog? Well, if you didn't know what you're doing, you couldn't train a dog. But if you get out there and train a dog and you knew nothing about the 4 quadrants, did the 4 quadrants matter? No, they didn't. But now everybody wants to argue every single word that you say on the internet instead of train the freaking dog. And that's what makes me laugh. Everybody is an internet expert. Let me see them train Jeff's dog. Let me see that dog. Jeff's already explained that he went to a trainer and the trainer didn't have a frigging clue. I would love that dog to go to 30 or 40 trainers who are all promoting themselves as God's gift out there in the dog training world. I'd like to see them turn that dog round. The more dogs I train, the more I learn how little I know. And that's the truth. That is the whole truth, Kieran. That is the whole truth. The more dogs you have, the more you understand your lack of understanding, and how you gain that is working with thousands and thousands of dogs and thousands of people. Not only do you have to be a good dog man these days, you have to be a good people person. And the videos that I put up, that I used to put up on YouTube, used to get massive following. Those videos are on Patreon for the members, but at the end of the day, they don't get nowhere near the following as they would by putting them up on YouTube. But what I don't have to deal with is the idiots who want to criticize. And they're a small minority, really, but they've got big voices, haven't they? Because they gang up together and they go after anybody who uses discipline. Now, positive only, Jeff's dog would be drugged to the eyeballs for the rest of his life. Exactly, Steve. Exactly. That dog can switch off, but he's so wound up like a coil. It's the nature of the beast. And you could break that dog and take the spirit away from that dog. But why would I want to take the spirit away from the dog? So it's a longer timeline to get the dog right. Simple as that. There's no getting around it. Other dogs, you would be more advanced in the training because of the nature of the beast. That dog pushes boundaries to the level that other people wouldn't have a clue what to do. So if Jeff hadn't found me, and that's not blowing my own trumpet, where would he have gone with that dog? Where would he have gone with that dog out there?
Well, certainly not a church hall.
He could have gone to a church hall. He could have gone to a church hall, but guess what? He'd be praying. He'd be praying in a church hall. He'd be looking for divine inspiration. When he met me, he's had divine inspiration, but he's stuck with it.
Or to be told, don't come back.
That's it. That's what they get told, isn't it? Don't come back with that dog. It's a bad influence.
Steve Pace said he loved the way. I love the way you could see Jeff's dog working out for himself after he was educated with the e-collar.
Yeah.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah. And I could share that video anywhere on the internet, and nobody in reality could say that dog was abused with that e-collar. And you could see instantly it changed the mindset of that dog. So let's just say Jeff's dog chases cattle. Let's just say he gets out and he goes chasing cattle. And you give him a correction, a firm correction on the e-collar. Now, I said to Jeff, and it's on the video, the level we gave the dog wouldn't have bothered Jeff if I'd put the e-collar on Jeff's neck and touched it. It wouldn't have bothered him. He'd have felt it. It'd have felt slightly uncomfortable, but he had been able to take it, no problem at all. But I guarantee the dog thinks on this level. Imagine that you go out, you touch the car, and you get a static shock off the car. It makes you jump off your freaking feet, doesn't it, and go, fucking bastard, where did that come from? But you know it's a static shock. Every time you go to the car, do you jump because you think, shit, static shock? No. But when you do get a static shock off the car on the odd occasion, it makes you freaking jump. And it makes you jump more because you've had it and you know what it feels like. So as soon as your body gets that feel of that static shock again, you jump and do the same thing. Bastard, that bloody got me. And that's a static shock off the car. And I guarantee, using the e-collar the way I show you, if you use it at the right level to stop an unwanted behavior and you go in firm at the right time, you don't have to use it all the time. If it's just a tick, 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 tick on the dog's neck like that, you're going to have to be using that collar all the time until you start turning it up. And then what's going to happen? The dog's going to get toughened up by it and go, I can push through this. As soon as that dog had that level on that collar, that dog reacted with a negative. You could see the dog didn't like it. I can't make it that the dog likes it just to please people out there. I have to say, I wanted to stop an unwanted behavior. So I used it as a negative to stop an unwanted behavior. But what carries more baggage? That or running into a long line and hitting the end of a long line 3 or 4 times and going, I'll avoid that because that's not comfortable. What's safer, the e-collar or hitting the end of a long line? And that's what you've got to ask yourself. You've got to be honest with yourself and you've got to be true to yourself. Karen said the dog isn't supposed to like it. If it was supposed to like it, it would be a reward. That it would reward that bad behavior. And he's right, because we don't reward bad behavior. But if I punish the dog for everything he's doing wrong, And I'm just tapping him, nagging him with the e-collar, nagging him. All I'm going to get is the dog just goes, that's part of life. That's like exactly going back to when I was a youngster and the old man say, don't be a bloody idiot, and hit you across the back of the head. All it did is taught you to duck. It didn't teach you to stop being a bloody idiot.
You should have hit your eye, shouldn't
He should have battered me.
Adam
That didn't work either.
Adam says when he first came to you as a puppy, it was showing signs of aggression. If Jeff had have come to you, that would have got worse. You saved Jeff and his dog's life, literally.
You're dead right, Adam. You're dead right. But what happens is the hate gang out there who just want to promote themselves as positive only, and they want to be liked by everybody. That's what the whole series. That's why I was talking about the T-shirt. I don't give a shit. If you don't like me, you don't like me. We all want to be liked to a certain extent, but I'm not willing to change my ideas in life just to appease other people, just to be more popular. If that's the case, then I'd rather not play the game. I'd rather not be here. I'd rather have people following me who like the fact that they know what he says he means or he believes, and he's trying to educate people and he gets results. That's more important to me. And I think I get results. Well, I know I get results. I don't have to be a big head. I know I get results. I know my method of training works. And it also works by educating people the way I educate people. Where are these so-called e-collar trainers out there who are very popular at the moment because they're fighting the corner for the fight not to ban the e-collar? Where are all their training videos? Where are thousands of training videos free for the public to see? Have they put them up? Thousands of videos for the public to see. I thank Larry Crone a great amount for showing in his early days the e-collar and how he used the e-collar. I got his book because I liked what I saw. I watched it. Before that, I was against the e-collar. But I can admit I was wrong. But was I wrong? No. In one way, I wasn't having an open mind because I'd seen idiots abusing dogs with e-collars. So I had that mindset that e-collars are not a training aid. It's for idiots out there who haven't got a clue. But then I started watching some people with e-collars, using e-collars in a considerate way and showing how to use e-collars. If people don't put up their work, how can I condemn them or how can I promote them? I'm not really interested in bullshit, PR bullshit every day from a trainer. I might fall for it for a day or two and think, yeah, he talks sense. He says what I believe in. I might promote them. But then once I realize that's all they do, they're out to promote themselves all the time, non-stop. Look at me. I'm brilliant. Look what I do. I can move away from them. I share people that I've watched and I've thought, yeah, I can see the concept behind that. That makes sense. Look at the result he's getting. But all I'm saying is, where are these videos from these thousands of so-called e-collar trainers that are writing big pieces? Go Sue. What the hell's Gary on about?
Questions.
Question. Go on then, Sue.
I have two questions.
She's got two questions.
Denver, I will do.
Denver's dog's talking to him in it at the moment. He wants to go out.
Hang on, I'll do get Denver's in a minute.
She's not very good, is she? She's very slow, isn't she?
I've got to get back. Oh, here we are.
Here we are.
Paul Crocker. Chris, what are your thoughts on once banned? Because you were talking about the e-collar. Will they go underground?
Without fail, they'll go underground. Without fail, they'll go underground. And that's the sad thing about it, isn't it? Because who's going to educate them underground? Who's going to educate the idiots using them underground? Because it's going to be like, you got a problem, come and see me. I'll let you use me e-collar. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to fuck dogs up. You have to have an open mind and look at these things and have an open mind. I don't train exactly the same as Larry does with an e-collar. You don't see me using food all the time But when you look at Michael Ellis and you look at, I don't want to say Chad Mackin, because I haven't really seen Chad Mackin gone in a different direction only lately again. He talk about different trainers. You talk about Larry. You talk about people who will use the e-collar, but they're trying to educate people. If you're not educating people, then we ain't doing a job if we're just using the e-collar and going, look at the result, look at the result. Because people will go out and buy the e-collar and they'll mess the dog up. Because it's about education. But that's the same thing with discipline. If you go in and use discipline on a dog and you don't use it at the right time, that's no different than leash corrections, is it? Paul Crocker says, sadly, I agree with the cheap crap e-collars. Exactly. What's the point in having a cheap e-collar? I think they should be regulated, but who the hell is going to regulate? Please educate people. I don't see how regulation is going to work, because if I show you how I use an e-collar, as Larry tells you how he uses an e-collar, and someone else tells you how they use the e-collar, say Jamie Penrith or someone like that, or Danny Wells, who's going to decide who's using it the correct way or not using it the correct way? Because if you're only using the e-collar for sheep chasers, cattle chasers, then I think you're missing a bigger picture. Because I think the e-collar is a wonderful tool if used correctly. If you overuse it, it's like any other method of training. You can come unstuck. I've had a few now that I have had bad e-collar training. The owners had created nothing but nervousness and confusion. Exactly, Karen. And that's the problem. That is the problem with idiots saying, I got an e-collar, I'll lend it to you. I've seen it. I've been there and seen it. I've seen it with panel judges frying the shit out of a dog for running in, not stopping on the flush. And they did not have a clue. And I bought that dog off him for the price he paid for it, and he shipped it from Ireland. Paid a lot of money for it, but it wasn't the money he paid for it at the time. It was shipping it and all the cost of getting it brought across and everything. And I gave him money for that dog, and I turned that dog round, and I won with that dog. But he turned that dog into a nervous wreck. Every time that dog went in for a flush, it would false point, because the dog thought, I'm not allowed to flush it. The dog wasn't allowed to chase it, but we want a dog to flush it. Now, if a protection sports trainer is using an e-collar, he's going to use it different than I would use it for a working gun dog. So I openly talk about how I use it. Why can't I put my videos up and send my videos in to a regulating body that says, yes, we've watched them, and at no point does that dog look distressed to the point that it's affected that dog mentally. Now, we have that messy middle, and we talk about that messy middle. The dog's got to learn to push through that, because we're changing the mindset. If you don't know nothing about the messy middle, you could go, oh, that dog's affected. But look what I showed you with Jeff's dog. One correction, one little bit of hesitation. Shall I go? Shan't I go? Slowed the dog down. But then the drive came back up because he realized how to switch off the pressure instantly. Instantly. Don't go until told, or he will put the pressure on. That's how intelligent the dog is. That's how intelligent the dog is. Those 3 videos that I put up are far more important than saying, let's go after that freaking MP Coffee, whatever his name is. Kofi, is it? Whatever her name is. Whose sister used an e-collar. And so that's double standards. That bitching about what other people are doing, I don't think wins the battle. I think what wins the battle in the e-collar wars is put up your work and show it. Have the bollocks to wear the t-shirt. I don't give a fuck what you think about me. There's my work. Put up the work and show not a dog on a long line, not a dog fucking held onto in a field of sheep. They've proven that the e-collar is the only effective thing to stop a real cattle chaser. That's what they've proven. And yet they didn't go with the science, did they? So what we should be doing is flooding the market with good videos showing people how you can change the mindset in one quick touch of that button at the right time if you know what you're doing. But then we shouldn't hide from the fact that if you don't let us touch the button of the e-collar, I'm going to have to run out the freaking field, grab hold of the dog by its freaking collar or whatever, drag the dog back and give the dog a negative and let the dog realize I'm not freaking happy. Guess what? What would you rather see? Please tell me, everyone. Would you rather see one correction on an e-collar, or would you rather see someone dragging the dog back, kicking its arse and fighting all the way back to you? The dog's kicking its arse, its own arse. Like saying, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this. And you're dragging it all the way back because it's chased sheep. Tell me what would you be happier with? One touch of an e-collar, send a message to the dog, or watch someone having to give the dog the chastisement to the level, especially when it's a cattle chaser, that you'd have to go, now what's the negative? E-collar all day. Exactly what Gary Marriott says. That's if do you know what? If you can't say that on this group at the moment, we've only got 37 people in here. If you can't say that, then you haven't got a freaking clue. Because before that, e-collar, and I educated myself, it would be me running across the freaking field, giving the dog a negative, because the owner hasn't got the balls to do it or the understanding to do it. Does that make you popular if you put them videos up? No, it bloody doesn't. No, it doesn't. But it's the truth. And that's what we should be saying. You're taking us back to the 1970s, 1980s by not allowed to use the e-collar. Now, I know that some of you on here haven't used the e-collar or haven't had to go and get an e-collar. And if you train dogs the way I show you, and you could say, well, hang on, you contradicted yourself here, Chris. Jeff is training his dog the way you show him, but you've used an e-collar. Why have I used an e-collar? Because it's far kinder and it sends a sharper message that is direct to the dog. That's really important. Else, I would show Jeff how to do it without an e-collar. Now, if Jeff said to me, I don't want to use an e-collar, I've heard they're terrible. Here, look, Gary says, I've chased a dog over many fields and had to give a correction. You won't stop it with cheese. Exactly. Exactly. And I can tell you that in my younger day, I don't think I would have needed an e-collar. But as I'm getting older, an e-collar is a far better tool to use. You don't lose your cool, and you shouldn't lose your cool. But trust me, frustration can come in with some people, and I've seen it. And they take the frustration of struggling with the dog out on the dog instead of using it as a training tool, discipline at the right time. And that's where my job as a trainer is to show you that you losing your cool and getting frustrated is not the way to master the dog. Shouting and screaming at the dog all the time, the dog will switch off. The same as the wife. When she nags me, I just switch off. Good evening, Lynn. But she doesn't nag me. But when she does, she don't get the best from me if she does try and nag me.
Can we get these questions done?
Oh, see what I mean? See what I mean? In the background, look, can we get these questions done? Denver's panicking.
But before that, Paul Crocker, they have allowed perimeter fence collars to be legal. Have you ever Have you ever put one on one of those on your neck? Did it once, never ever again. Why would you put one?
Why would you put a perimeter fence on your neck? I was with my daughter once, and we were in Scotland, and I was dying for a pee, and I went across this corner of the churchyard. It wasn't in the church; it was just on the corner. And as I went across, I hit some bastard of the church had put a mains electric across the gate. I was only going to pee in the corner, and I hit the bloody thing. And I only had shorts on. It was really hot, and we were in Scotland, and I only had shorts on, and I hit the freaking mains electric. Didn't see it, and it was literally at the top of my legs. Jesus Christ, did that make me jump? I did piss myself, but luckily I was dying for a piss anyway. So, e-collar used correctly is a very, very long line. Simply as simple as that.
Right, 2 questions. We'll go for David's first because it should be quick.
Come on.
Hi, I've got a litter of cockers keeping a bitch, thinking of keeping a dog as well. Your advice and thoughts, please.
If you've got the facility to keep a dog and a bitch, then fine, but you're going to have to keep them separate, aren't you? I'm in a different situation, so if I was going to keep a dog and a bitch, it wouldn't bother me. But if you're in a house and you're going to keep the dogs in the house, then it can be problematic if the bitch comes in season. What are you going to do? It's horses for courses, each to their own. Sometimes I have kept dogs and bitches because I want to keep a dog out the litter. I might keep 2 or 3 dogs out the litter, and then decide which one I want to keep out the 3. Give myself a better chance of having a good one. But sometimes I end up with the one that's left over anyway, because other people come on and go, I like that one better than that one. And to be honest with you, I think that sometimes train what's in front of you. But advice I can give you there is, if you've got the facilities to do it, that's up to you. It's down to your own choice there. Okay.
We've now got Denver's.
Denver.
Right, this is the one that is nagging him to train. Right, stares at me, then runs to cupboard with my training stuff, then to the back door, then back to me, over and over.
Yeah, okay, Denver. So what do you want me to answer? What do you want me to answer? Do you want me to say how to stop that, Denver? Just say yes or no. Do you want me to tell you how to stop that, Denver? Just give me an answer, yes or no. You've now told me what the dog's doing. Just tell me. Susan's waiting. She's waiting. Nagging isn't very effective. It weakens the relationship between the dog and the firm time correction allows both the handler and the dog to get over it quickly. Thanks for all the comments. The e-collar has been a marvellous tool for me. I walk past sheep and livestock with no bother, thanks to Chris and his training. Well done, Jeff. Good on you, boy. Good on you. Come on then, Denver. Are you still there, or have you left the auditorium? I just want an answer. Do you want me to tell you how to stop that, Denver, or not? Is that what you're asking me? Is he left? Has he left the auditorium? Is he left? Can anyone see Denver's comment? I'm still waiting. Or shall I just guess what he wants me to say? Okay, Susan, read out the question again. Let's see if Denver wants to come on. Perhaps he's not there. Perhaps he's trying to put the dog in the cupboard. Go on, Susan, read the question again.
I've got to find it again.
Thanks, Chris. Re-keeping 2 pups, training them will it create any problems? No, it won't. Not like I said to you. I just said, if the only problem is if the bitch comes in season and then you got the dog there, you don't want them breeding, do you, and all that. So that's the only thing. Training a dog and a bitch out the same litter, not a problem. Do I like to leave a dog and a bitch in a kennel together? No, because they become too attached to each other. So I'd keep them in separate kennels. But it depends. If you've got them in the house, you haven't got that choice, have you? You've got to keep them together. But if you take them out separately and train them separately, then not a real big problem. I'm still waiting for Denver. Denver. No, I don't mind training him. As I said, he's keen. Just don't know what else to do with him, training-wise, without boring him. Right, Denver. Could you read out the question, Sue, that Denver asked?
The very first one?
Yeah.
Right. I have a dog question, Chris. My younger male every day is nagging to go out and train.
Not that one. Second question then.
Great. But I don't really know what else to say.
Second
Really.
question. I
Then
answered
he
that
came
one.
back, stares at me, then runs to cupboard with my training stuff.
Yeah.
Then to the back door, then back to me, over and over.
Yeah. If you want to stop that behavior, Denver, put the dog in a crate. Don't give the dog the freedom to do what it wants to do all the time. Don't let the dog dictate to you. It's simple. Training dogs is really simple. If a woman kept rubbing my leg and I enjoyed that and I got a reward every time she rubbed my leg, then I'd let her rub my leg on a regular basis, wouldn't I? If you want to stop an unwanted behavior, see what Karen just said? Freedom is earned, not given willy-nilly.
And David says
That is so plain. It's so simple. It's so true. David says what, Susan?
he's got 7 acres, so no problem about space. Thanks, Chris. Keeping 2 pups.
No problem at all. Well done. 7 acres. Nice, nice. Like Karen says, keep it simple. A happy ending, says Gary. Yeah, if she was rubbing my leg, I'd expect a happy ending. If I wasn't getting a happy ending and I was busy doing something, I'd say, stop rubbing my freaking leg. Right? At the end of the day, Denver, if you allow a behavior to manifest, it becomes a bad habit. And the dog dictating to you is not what we want the dog to do. That's why I asked you that question. What do you want? It's as if you said to me at first, the dog's talking to me. I'm thinking, how the freaking hell is the dog talking to you? Because you decide when the dog goes out. You decide when the dog trains. If you allow the child to have the freedom of the house to do what it wants, that's exactly the same as the dog doing the same thing. Dogs aren't children. They need to know their place. But are you going to let your child? You're having a conversation. You're having an interview for a job. Are you going to let the child jump in and take over the situation? No. There comes a point where the child has got to take a back seat, but you don't want to push him back all the time. If she's rubbing my leg, she spent a chunk of money on something stupid.
And Denver said,
Karen.
And Denver said, he is the one I sent video of doing the 3-card trick.
Did I see the 3-card trick video? I'm not sure. I deal with thousands of people, but I will try and look for that one. That is the dog doing the 3-card trick. So have you put it up for the group, Denver, or did you just send it to me? If you sent it for me, I don't think I've shared it with the group. I haven't seen it, I don't think. Why haven't I seen it? Where did you send it, Denver? I don't know where I can't recall watching your dog, Denver, doing the 3-card trick. Or did you put up in the group? Perhaps I've not seen it. I can't remember. To you?
To you.
Right. Okay. Did you send it? Where did you send it, Denver? WhatsApp. Okay. I'll try and find it, Denver. Did you put your name next to it? Because I get a lot of people sending me videos without putting their name next to it. And if I can't see the person and I could only see the dog, some days I think, who's this? Says you looked at it. All right. I don't think it's in the group. Right. Okay, Denver, I will have a look for that video and I will try and do a voiceover for you. But how did the dog get out in the field to do was it in the field, was it? How did the dog get out in the field to do the 3-card trick? Did you decide to take the dog in the field, or did you wait till it told you it wanted to go in the field? Because going back to what you were saying, Denver, we've got to break it down into simple format. I've never had a dog tell me that it's ready to train, other than it looks at me really keenly and says, come on, can we go out?
Shows me.
What the dog shows you? When it wants to go out in the field and do a 3-card trick.
Have
you watched freaking Lassie, Denver? Lassie
decides to.
Oh, it decides to. Jesus Christ, this is great. Denver, would you like to come on and do it live? This is unreal. The dog decides to show you.
By going to the cupboard.
Going to the cupboard, getting 3 dummies, and going, throw one to the left, throw one to the right, and don't forget the one out the back. Denver, I'm going to go back, especially tonight or tomorrow, and I'm going to look for that video. I'm intrigued. I wish you'd video it all where the dog said, "Come on, we want to go training. We're going out in the field. Bring 3 dummies." No, I decided to take him out. All right, you decided to take him out. Right, okay. Right. Sounds like Denver is playing the dog's game rather than the dog is playing his game. Denver's game. No problem. Denver, no problem. I'm going to try and find that video without fail, and I will do a follow-up with this, Denver. I am now writing this down. Writing it down, Denver. How long ago, Denver, did you send this video? 3-card trick. Denver.
Love, he is keen.
I'll be honest with you. I think that if I'd seen it was Denver doing the 3-card trick with the dog, I think I don't know why I wouldn't have shared it with the group.
Jeff says I want to see that one.
Yeah, we all want to see it. Everybody's keen to see that one, Denver. We are keen to see it. I tell you what, I did a bit of gardening this week. Look at that bastard. A bloody blister. This old fart's got a blister. Freaking gardening.
You have a question?
Sunday he sent it. Bloody hell, only Sunday. I haven't sorted it out yet. Might be the backlog. Come on then. What's the next question, Susan?
It's from Chad Tillerton.
I bet Chad Tillington's talking about a beagle.
Yeah, have you answered it?
No, I'm just reading it.
All right.
My beagle. How did I know that? He was knocking at the door, the beagle. My beagle doesn't enjoy the ball or treats. I bet he don't. How do I reward him? Let him lift his head and frigging chase stuff.
How do I reward him when he's doing well? He's really stubborn and has little interest in me as his owner. I've made some mistakes and want to put them right.
Chad, can I ask you a simple question? What made you buy a beagle? It's simple as that. What made you decide, well, I think I'll buy myself a beagle?
What's he wanting for? Just a pet or what?
The thing is, I could have said bagel, being dyslexic, but no, beagle, right? My beagle doesn't enjoy a ball or treats. How do I reward him when he's doing well? He's really stubborn and has little interest in me as an owner. I've made some mistakes and want to put them right. Come on, Chad. I love this one. This is a good one. Listen. Do I look like the sort of bloke who could chase a pointer across a grouse moor? Do you think I'm built to chase a pointer across a grouse moor? Now ask me the question. Why haven't you got a pointer, Chris? Right? Steve Pace has hit the nail on the head. I bet he enjoys running a straight line with the scent up his nose. Exactly. There's an old saying, isn't there? Horses for courses, as we say. I know Chad. He's a good lad. Nothing wrong with that. And I asked the same question, Chris. Why a beagle? They are bred for putting their head down and following scent. Exactly. Chad's laughing now. He's getting the message. Chad, listen. Do you know if the speed limit was 30 miles an hour? What's the point in buying a Ferrari other than you can drive at 30 miles an hour and everyone will go, fuck it, oh, look at that car. Right? Because you can't really put your foot down if everything's 30 miles an hour. So I'm only being honest with you. What made you buy that dog? Because it's a good learning curve for other people out there thinking, oh, I like the look of that dog, I might buy it. Did you look at the genetics of that dog and think, right? Because I can tell you, I could count how many beagles I've trained on one hand in all the years I've trained gun dogs. And do you know what the answer is, Chad? None. And do you know why, Chad? I don't know. It's my first dog. We're not laughing at you, Chad. We're laughing with you, mate. I know your frustration. I know your frustration. But that's why it's so important that's why you should perhaps look at what the dog was bred to do in the first place. Now, I don't mean I can't help you to a certain extent, but it's not. Barry Lamb's in the house. Barry's been successful lately with his tests, hasn't he? Well done, Barry. I'm not an expert on beagles. Alexa, shut up! What the hell did Alexa put on Tina Turner Private Dancer for? Does she know something? Honestly, that was ridiculous, wasn't it?
Steve Pay says, give Michael a call and go man trailing. He's going to Australia, isn't he?
Yeah, unfortunately, Michael's going to Australia, isn't he? No, let me go back to that because I'm not being funny. Chad, as I said, he has, isn't he? He's a good lad. Hang on. What's this thing? I hope you are. Ha ha. What? I don't know. It's my first dog. I hope you are. Yeah, going back to that dog. That doesn't mean that I can't show you how to get the dog back. But what is your problem you're having? Is the dog's pulling you? Is it the dog's not listening to you? Do you dance around in a skirt, Chris, in your spare time? Yeah, I can do the shimmy shimmy, as Tina says, the shimmy shimmy.
Well, Gary says, my neighbours have a spriggle, half Springer, half Beagle, and it's never been off lead. Zero control and zero chance of being off lead ever.
I don't think that's the case, to be honest with you. I think you can get the dog to do certain things, but you're limited because the dog's genetics wants to do what it wants to do. Kieran helped me with some basics this week. He does pull, yes, but I'm working on this.
Well, Kieran's too hot from that. Kieran's put like an answer.
I would try to get him mad on retrieving. Small baby steps for a couple of minutes a day. What I would have a tendency to do, Kieran, with that, I would have the dog to turn on the turn whistle. I would take the dog out and let the dog open up, but the dog's got to turn on the turn whistle. And the way I would do it is I would use a long line. So I would use a long line with a dog like that because that's what they use for, for dog, that sort of dog, isn't it?
So Kieran says, I'm struggling to get him to focus on me.
Well, I won't worry about focusing on you. I would get him to focus on the control that you want. And the control is you can go so far, but if you hit the end of the line, it's going to be a negative. So switch off the pressure. As simple as that. Because that dog will want to pull. Automatically, it wants to pull. And I don't think they got the same mindset that you can get into with a gun dog. You've got to change your thinking. And so what you've got to say is, I'll let you get out there, but you must not hit the end of that line. And if you hit the end of that line, there's going to be a negative. So don't put pressure any further than that. And I would teach that dog that there's that magic distance you can go to. You can get out and explore. You can put your head down. You can do what you're doing, but don't push it any further. But that takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. That's going to have to be conditioning to the dog. But that's what you get when you purchase that sort of breeding, isn't it? That's the problem. Yep, get it right on the long lead. If that's not right on the lead, it's never going to be right. Exactly. And so if you put your emphasis on the training onto the long line and teaching the dog that pressure and release, that you can be on a long line, you can track. It's a tracking dog, isn't it? You can track. But don't pull me once you're at the end of that long line. If you do, I'm going to give you a negative and teach you to turn that pressure off. That doesn't mean you're not giving the dog freedom. You could give the dog 30 feet in front of you, couldn't you, to use its nose. If the dog has got its nose to the ground and it's using its nose, it's not going to be pulling you like a a dog that, like a sledge dog, that wants to pull, right? So what you're doing, you're teaching the dog. You can search, you can use your nose, but there's a limit, and that's as simple as that to begin with. And I would get into the mindset of changing the dog there in that situation. But what do I say to people? I don't really get involved with pet dogs and pet people. I train gun dogs because I love training gun dogs. I've got a very high skill set with gun dogs. I've never ever thought in any time I've ever had one that I'd like to own a beagle and run it like a pack dog.
Well, as Steve Pay says, they normally run as a pack after their quarry.
Exactly.
We have a question from Paul.
Glad you came in, Chad, says Kieran. You will learn a lot on here on a Wednesday night, and it's every Wednesday. Yeah.
We have a question from Paul Matt.
Susan, do you know what Susan's doing tonight? Let me just explain to you, everyone. Over on Corleone Talk, and that's part of our Patreon group, we have a night of once a week that we all get together and we open up the computer and all the little faces of everybody in a group chat. So everybody looks at everybody. If you're a bit shy, you can just put up a logo and not see your face. But we have a great chat on a Wednesday, on a Sunday. Is it Sunday? Eh? Sunday night.
And you haven't got to, if you're having a bad hair day, you haven't got to show your face of yourself.
That's it. So like Sue says, if you're having a bad hair day, or like Sue's not had a shave, then she doesn't need to show her face. I don't think she's ever shown a fucking face yet, has she? It's always me in it. Stick the fat bastard up, put him in front of the camera, and let him take the shit. And what I'm saying is, we were on there the other night. It's supposed to be an hour. We had 3 hours. 3 hours. On here, I'm looking at the clock and I'm trying to keep it to an hour so people don't have a late night, get in trouble when they go to work the next day, say that Upton kept me up all freaking night. And do you know what Sue does? Sue is asking me to answer more questions, and it's 1 hour and 2 minutes and 22 seconds. She just can't put me down, can she?
Excuse me.
She just wants me to go on all night, doesn't she?
Excuse me. You normally go, well, there wasn't any blooming dog questions tonight, was there? You've got them tonight, so
got the dog questions. Go for it, Susan.
Right, Paul Matt.
Who?
Paul Matt, not poor Matt.
Paul Matt. Go on then.
What's the best way to introduce a puppy to my other Springer with feeding, living in the same kennel, etc.? Don't know the age of the other Springer or whatever.
Right. Well, you normally find that most Springers, if you bring them up right, most dogs should accept a puppy without any fear, any jealousy, any problem. Where you get the problem is if you've over pampered your other dog and the dog gets a bit jealous, and new dog in the pack. Other words, new person into your family, another addition into your family. Most dogs, if been brought up right, will just accept the puppy being a little bit naughty to begin with, and they'll ignore the bad behavior. They'll just turn away from it. If you've got a dog that's a little bit more reserved sometimes, you might have a dog that's a little bit sort of snappy towards the puppy to begin with, but you'll find that if you give them time to get together, 95% of the time they get on like a house on fire, and before you know it, they're best of mates. The puppy's pulling chunks out the other dog and the other dog's just letting it. Why? Because it doesn't see it as a threat, but it's bringing the older dog out of itself, because now it's got a playmate, it's got a friend, right? Where you do get a problem is if you've pampered your one dog, you've treated it like a human, and it still thinks it's a human, and it goes, what the friggin' hell is this doing in our house? Get the frig out. And then it plows into the puppy and it knocks the puppy back. That's what you don't want. So I've never had a problem introducing a puppy to the pack. I've had puppies hanging off the older dogs and the older dogs take no notice, because the dog's pain threshold is a lot greater than human. And so the dogs will just ignore. If I bring my pack of dogs into the backfield like we used to, and we got a dog that's out of control, a naughty dog, a dog that's not balanced, and it's a bit assertive, it's a bit bolshy, it's a bit full of itself, and we just take it straight out in the backfield, a pack of 15, 20 dogs sends a message to that dog: we're not interested in you. We're interested in the bloke who took us in the field. We follow him. We don't follow you. You're nobody to us. And that dog soon learns, hang on, I thought I was top dog. I'm not a top dog here. But no one really challenges it. So when it stands up to them, there's only one person who goes in and separates it. That's me, because I'm showing leadership. But if it's just nose on nose, who are you? My dogs will stand their ground, but they won't get into a fight. They don't get into a fight because they're balanced. So it all depends on whether you've got a balanced pack. Mine just ignore new puppy because it's no threat. Exactly, Denver. Exactly. And that's the whole point. Don't you start freaking playing Tina Turner again. That's the whole point. Because I'm simply the best. Alexa, simply the best.
To play specific albums, you'll need to sign up for Amazon Music Unlimited, which lets you choose from over 100 million songs. It's free for 30 days and then £10.99 a month until you cancel. Terms in the Alexa app. Should I start your free trial and play the album Simply the Best?
No, you money-grabbing cow.
Okay, I can play similar music instead for free. You can also browse more music with the free Amazon Music app. I've sent information to your Alexa app. Here's some music for the best by Tina Turner on Amazon Music. This service may contain interest-based ads. To learn more, including how to set your
Alexa,
preferences, go to Amazon.
Cancel that, please.
Cancelling.
Good night, all. I've just turned on somebody's Alexa. I have that feeling with everybody. Good night, all.